could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Yeah, and times are changing everywhere. Do we dream and do we dare? It's up to you, the door is open wide. Feel the rhythm of today, learn the part and join the play. The world is here, let's take it for a ride. You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could.
After the recent Zwartkops event, we've reached the halfway point in the Inland Championship. Coming up on today's show, we are joined by Julian Familiaris, who will take us for a lap around the Zwartkops Raceway in his turbocharged BMW. We catch up with Julian about his recent experiences at the Motorsport Academy, and then we'll have a chat to Michael Broom about a very special event coming up related to BMW. And of course, naturally, we'll have all of the action from round 5 of the Inland Championship at Zwartkops. But before we do all of that, we move back one event to Midval Raceway, where the Inland Championship ran the opposite way around the circuit. Stuart and Justin, you guys were there. Can you tell us more about it?
Well, before we get into how it actually went, I think we deserve to give Justin a massive round of thanks for organising it. There was a lot of behind the scenes involvement before we got permission to actually have the day going that way. So thanks to Justin, that was the best part about it. I think everybody knows, or maybe they don't, that the circuit was designed to go in the direction that we used at the last round. So the competitors loved it. It turned out to be that, in fact, our top class actually went quicker than they did in the first place.
I think the big thing behind it was that the previous round was at Midval, and the guys wanted something different. So that's why we put in the effort to try and make it go around. We all knew the history that Midval can ride the other way. It had never been done due to permits and those things being granted. So we put in the efforts and we made sure that it happened, and I think it turned out very, very well. The guys liked it. The track was different the other way around.
I think the side of it that backs that up is the fact that at the next event, the chaps want to go the same as we did at the last event. So we will be using it in the opposite direction again.
But there's definitely been a lot of interest on the track being the other way. It made a different track, which also makes it, we've got another track in our area to ride, because it was completely different to the way we used to. Different corners, different setup, and gave some very, very good racing.
In this episode, we're joined by Julian Familiaris, the current leader of the Bridgestone BMW Club Racing Series. We're going to be chatting to him about his recent experiences with the MSA Motorsport Development Academy. He was joined by fellow BMW driver Willie Erasmus, who unfortunately can't be here, but Julian's going to give us more insight as to their experiences on this academy. Julian, can you tell us more about it?
Thanks, Greg. The program was designed by Steve Harding in order to develop drivers into becoming motorsport icons. It's basically all we did was fitness tests. We did a bit of theory. It was focusing a lot on how to present yourself with the media, dealing with sponsorship, and how to market yourself to go further in the sport.
Julian, tell us how your motorsport career started.
Basically started out in 2011, built a BMW E30 325, and we entered time trials in the BMW CCG club, and basically two events after that started racing and have remained with the BM club ever since.
Crossing over now to an onboard lap with Julian at Zwartkops.
Alright, coming past the start finish line, entering turn 1 in 4th gear, trying to keep as much momentum as possible. Very important to stay off the edge of the track. Gearing down to 2nd for turn 2. Very important to get a good exit out of here. Give you a good run up to turn 4. Flat out through turn 3, gearing up into 5th gear. Reaching up to about 200. As we approach turn 4, we brake at the 100 meter mark, down to 4th. Again, keeping a lot of momentum on the power nice and early, running it wide, using all the track, give you a good run up to turn 5. As you come over the hill here, I like to brake early, get the car settled, turn in 3rd gear, nice and early on the power, remain in 3rd gear, just dab the brake, a little bit of a late exit on turn 6, flat out, just a little bit of a lift, heading down to turn 8, we get on to 2nd, taking a slightly later apex to give you a good run down to the start finish. And that's a lap of Zwartkops.
Highlights of the Bridgestone BMW race event coming up next. First race for the Bridgestone BMW Club Racing Series heads off into turn 1, and Julian Familiaris with an early lead there. Oh, his cousin Dino with a bit of a spin there, and into the barriers he goes.
Spun on some fuel or something else on the track there.
Yeah, the car snapped very quickly. That definitely wasn't a driver error. I think there was something there that maybe from one of the previous races that got him a little bit caught out.
So the pack's closing up on Carlo Garbini here with electrical issues. Ooh, Craig Ball, that's a little bit tight.
Yeah, no, Craig Ball really on top of Garbini through the corner there, and luckily avoiding him. I don't think he realised how slow Garbini was going. Warren Dodd there getting ahead now of Andreas, the German, and the rest of the pack now filtering through turn 5 and 6. Very close racing in the early stages here, and Willie Erasmus with a good start there. He's just behind Philip Smith, and the pair of them, along with Warren Dodd, are chasing down Lorenzo Gualtieri.
Yeah, Lorenzo is pretty much the active Class C at the moment, but I think there's going to be some challenges for that. Oh, look at this camera angle.
Absolutely.
Get a feel of how quick these cars come past you.
Awesome shot indeed. Just look at how they go through there, and it just gives the viewer a great idea how quick these cars actually are. Some of the camera shots are deceptive on how fast these cars are, but that certainly gave you a good idea of the speed, and that was the Class C bunch that was going through there. So imagine some of the Class A cars.
Speaking of which, Andreas May has pulled a move on the inside of Warren Dodd. Warren Dodd comes back at him. Nice that they give each other a little bit of space. Warren being the slightly more experienced hand.
Yeah, he certainly is, and proof in the pudding there as he gets ahead of both Andreas Meyer and Philip Smith. Philip, obviously one of the newcomers, but also doing really well in that beautifully turned out entry of his.
I've got to say, if you look at Willie Erasmus and Andreas Meyer, they've really come on in leaps and bounds in Class C. This is now the front of the pack. Warren's in Class B, but this looks like a nice 5-car battle. And Jimmy Janokera getting involved as well in his son Ricky's car.
Yeah, Jimmy having a good scrap there with the Class C guys, but as you say, they really are coming into their own, and just look at Dino on board now as well, as he's making a comeback from that early spin, and his car is very, very quick, and he's got this gaggle of cars ahead of him he needs to try to get past.
I think he's holding back because he's probably got the best seat in the house for look for the epic battle. Speaking of which, Mish goes wide after a move on Jimmy T. There comes back on the track, knocks into Shane Corbler. Jimmy trying to make up the position back again. Oh, a little bit tight there with Shane. Let's try and get the run on him to the bottom of the corner. I think I saw Craig Ball getting in the middle of that too. Hey, a little bit of a late move, a little bit of touch, a little bit of rubbing and racing. Going to have a go at him, I'm sure, on the next turn here. Maybe go on the inside. No, he doesn't. He goes to the outside. He's on the dirty stuff at that stage. Oh, hold on. A little bit wide and...
Oh, tags Craig Ball and into the wall. Jimmy T absolutely obliterating the tyre wall, and unfortunately his car as well. And just watching the replay and on board, he just runs wide, the back end comes around, and he's a passenger at that point. Boom!
Craig Ball had absolutely nowhere to go. I think in fairness, if Craig wasn't there, that accident could have been a lot bigger for Jimmy.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think tagging the back end of Craig's car definitely scrubbed off a lot of speed. Naturally, the red flag comes out.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of confusion here. Marshall's waving some cars into pits, some cars onto the track.
So unfortunately we've had to declare the first race null and void, and the simple reason is we couldn't get a grid formed properly for the restart. So that doesn't give a very fair race because you've either got a very big disadvantage or a very big advantage. So it doesn't count for anything, unfortunately, but the second race will be for double points. So if somebody hasn't had such a good race, they can come back in the second. So it should be a very, very good race to watch.
And we go straight into race 2 now. The charge down into turn 1. Let's hope Dino can have a better start this time around. It looks like Des Blum is there as well. And
Just behind him is George Estrella coming up. He's gone from Class D in the beginning of the season to Class B, so he's really coming on.
I was just about to say, Estrella, one of the sensations of this race weekend. He's come literally out of nowhere and he's right up there with the front end of the pack.
Well, what he has done is he's put himself into the way of some big bangers with Rian Vust, Rick Lorero, and a couple of other guys there. He's going to learn some racecraft pretty quickly.
No, he certainly is, and he's obviously got his work cut out for him. But I'll tell you one thing: what a place to learn.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, that's Shane Page in his first race meeting ever. Had a fantastic day. Well done to him. Here's a move from Carlo and Rian. I think you've cut him off a little bit there.
Yeah, there's certainly very close quarter racing there. And Estrella, the man who is still ahead of Rian Vust at the moment, and relishing in the power that car of his has. But look at Vust here, a little bit of racecraft. Oh, and Estrella showing some racecraft of his own, just closing the door on Vust straight away there.
He's gone to school in 2 laps and he's qualified already. Well done, George.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's racing hard and racing fair. And just look at that, Gorbini now trying to have a look down the inside of Rian Vust. These guys really are boxing hard.
Yeah, Vust is not giving him any room to get past, but I suppose they are racing, to be fair. But here Carlo will have a go at him. He's got the horsepower up the hill. Yeah, may have slightly better brakes up at the top. Let's see how this one plays out.
And just look at Estrella. Estrella's pulled away from both of them. Rian, as you say, with the better brakes at the top of the hill, he's managed to get back past Corbini. But Estrella is the man who's really impressing at the moment. And nice to see that Rick Lorero is back in the action as well.
Yeah, he's holding on to them.
A little bit further back in the field, we see the rest of the guys come through. Jan Everstein on board in the Mamuta entry. And Jan having a nice little battle there. He's behind the new boy, Shane Page. And as Michael Broom said, Page having a really good outing here in his first race.
Yeah, and Jan is in a fairly standard 3 to 8. If you remember the challenge class from last year, he's keeping up with the 3 litres.
Yeah, quite right. It just shows he's got some driving skill as well. He may not have the horsepower, but he's certainly no slouch behind the wheel.
Well, I think partly his skill, and I think Big Boss built a very good car there, to be very honest.
Well, you've got to give credit to where they are. Big Boss obviously have been involved in many of the cars and many of the builds in this particular series. And when it comes to prepping a race car, Big Boss definitely know how to do it.
I see Carlo still battling to get through on Rian. Rian's leaving it very tight for him there, and Des Bloom into the pits again with an overheating problem. It's nice to see him back, but just we'd really like to see that car at its full pace again.
Yeah, certainly would be good to see it with a little bit of reliability. And on board with Lorenzo Galtieri, he's the Class C leader. And
Oh, maybe not.
maybe not. As we say that, Philip Smith bun fighting and not giving him any room whatsoever, running him as far wide as he possibly can.
Jeez, look.
But yeah, big battles there between the youngster and the slightly more senior driver.
Well, Lorenzo's not staying out of it, and Warren Dodge looking at us going, you guys fight, I'll pick up the scraps, no problem.
Exactly, Warren with the best seat in the house. He's watching this battle unfold. And Warren now trying to get past Philip, and does. Philip comes back at him straight away. What an aggressive move that was, but clean. It was a clean but aggressive move, and Philip Smith is really bringing it to the youngsters here.
I don't know, Greg, with that sort of diving, I think he can go to Rio for the Olympic.
Well, Smith, one of the newcomers to the series. Oh, and Gorbini, motor gone in a big way there.
Yes, I hope he hasn't left it well there on the track. He's getting off the track as soon as he can. That's very good.
Look at the smoke filling the cabin as well. I think he was a little bit blinded there as well. So,
yeah,
a couple of the guys there's definitely some oil down there. You can see the guys fishtailing a little bit, the noses looking a bit loose.
Well, that's going to change the Class C battle up quite a bit, and we've got, this is the second last lap, there's one to come. Here we are on to the final lap. Lorenzo still leads out in Class C. Vinny and Philip Smith is staying in there, and Andreas Meyer, look at that.
Back on board is Julian Familiaris, our race leader. We haven't spoken too much about him because he's been so far out in front, but you can see him with a nice healthy lead there, just pacing himself, short shifting up the hill there, watching his mirrors. I think he's really comfortable at the moment, and no need to kill the car or the tyres. I think he's just going about the business of maintaining the gap and looking good. Dino Familiaris showing some battle scars from earlier on, but he's back in this race and going around nicely.
I want to see what's happened with the Class C here.
Class C battle, that was one of the protagonists in the battle who's now thrown it away. Andreas Meyer.
Yeah, it's what a pity. I think from that oil from Carlo going off in the previous lap, that's done it.
Checkered flag out, and Julian Familiaris taking the win there in Class A and overall, Rian Bust in Class B, Lorenzo Galtieri Class C, Alan Hilgen in Class D and Mark Dodd in Class E.
Yeah, it was a very good day of racing. The first race was exciting, but because of the results and the red flags, they made us lose all the points for that one and tackle the next one. So successful second race and won the class.
As you may have heard, BMW turns 100 this year. Michael, we believe that there's an exciting event coming up. Can you tell us more about it?
So yes, Greg, coming up the 20th of August at Red Star Raceway, the club's doing their centenary event. So the premise is all clubs around the world are going to have a centenary celebration on the same day, on the 20th of August. So it's a normal track day, like where most of our race cars have come from. We're doing a big parade for 2 hours, closing the track, trying to put 1,000 BMWs around the track as well. So if you have a BMW, you can come today if you want to join the parade. There's no cost to it. The only prerequisite is that you register beforehand on our website. So the web address will come up on your screen now. And come and join us for a magic day. There's some cool stuff happening with Bridgestone as well. We're taking people around the track in M3s. It's going to be a brilliant, brilliant day. If you're a BMW fan, you've got to be there.
Stuart, at the Zwartkops event, apparently Devin Robertson broke the lap record for GTA, but this has created a little bit of controversy. Can you maybe give us more detail?
Well, I think it goes back to the fact that the first time Devin used the car, which was late last year, he set the lap record, or he set the fastest lap. A bit of controversy about the lap record due to the fact that times were taken out, there were disqualifications, and eventually a competitor was given a lap record. Devin went quicker this time, but the assumption or the insinuation by some of the competitors was the car that he used last year was illegal. It was never ever proved to be. There was no disqualification or anything like that. But that's where the whole story starts from.
Coming up next, we have highlights of the Big Boss Auto Super Saloon races. Franco, a bit of an eventful start here for the weekend for you. Tell us about what's happening.
We had a little bit of a small little problem yesterday where the bell housing and the gearbox actually exploded into bits and pieces. And I mean, this has happened once in a lifetime, and it's happened to me, and I don't know why, you know. And we worked until 1 o'clock last night, back to the workshop, got spares, came back, so reassembled it. And this morning qualifying came out, and everything seemed hunky-dory, and 2 laps later the same thing happened. It actually explodes in bits and pieces. So now we've ordered more space from Willie Hedburn, new belt housing and that. We'll put another gearbox in, and the guys are busy now, as you see, fitting it. But my good friend Romano, the car that I also look after, is prepared to give me the car to drive, you know, so for the first heat. So I'll be driving this car for the first heat and then see if I can get my car for the second heat, you know. Good friends, you know.
Well, we certainly wish you all the best. We hope to see you there. You are one of the leading contenders as always, and yeah, it'll be a pity if you aren't there, but we look forward and we trust that we'll have you in the first and the second race. And first race for the Big Boss Auto Super Saloons heads down into turn 1, and Rolling Thunder in the house there. A couple of rotaries chasing down as well. On board now with Via Finico. Nice to have him back. We haven't seen him for a while, but nice to have him there, and he certainly is going to give Jody Viana a run for his money as well. The V8 start accelerating. Jody's there as well. He's got a good start. Via now has a little bit of catch-up work to do, but back to the leaders out in front, and just look at the rotaries as they start chasing down the V8s at the sharp end of the field.
Greg, if I can just come in there for a moment. VRB's actually got a forced induction 4-cylinder. Thanks to Justin, we're doing a bit of a test at this event, and VRB has entered into GT3. So he's testing his car against Jody, and as you can see, it's turning out to be a great example.
It certainly does. Another great example is that man out in front, Devin Robertson, in his green machine as well. Looks like the green machines are the ones to play with this weekend. Oh, that's second place man Ben Morganrud getting a little bit out of shape, and Mackie Adlam pouncing on him straight away. Mackie all over the back end of Ben's car. Ben seems to be battling with a bit of traction there, and just look at the way Devin is getting away from these guys. Mackie down the inside there, opportunistic move, and he made it count up to P2, and Morganrud down to 3.
Nice one there for Mackie. You can certainly see that he's got head down and chasing Devon.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's obviously got his eye on the youngster, and looks like Jody Viana got his eye on Franco de Matteo in that V8 as well. But Jody's car, obviously something he's used to. The car that Franco's driving, something he's not used to. So I think Franco's still coming to grips with an unfamiliar car. Obviously the car's still set up for Romano, and Franco just coming to grips there. But Jody in the new colours for his sponsor, looking really good there, and you see VBF Nykirk chasing down as well. Another battle in the V8s a little bit further back between Willie Hepburn and Amos Cockram Jr., and we're on board with Cockram Jr. now as he chases down the wily old Fox and dives down the inside there. Great move, well timed, and Amos Cockram Jr. moving up one spot there ahead of Willie Hepburn.
Willie never gives up. Watch Willie, is sure to make a comeback at that. But as you can see, Amos is certainly on his way with this one.
Yeah, we saw earlier on in the season the two of them had quite a few little battles, but I think Amos now really coming to grips with the big V8. He was a rotary man. Oh, and a big spin there for one of the GT4 cars.
That's Raymond Goodrich. He's almost gone back to join the circuit on the other side.
Narrowly missing those tyres, luckily. Hopefully he can get up and running again. But back to the action for P2, and Mackie Adlam still fending off Ben Morganrud. Devin Robertson obviously way off in the distance already, and the big battle now on for P2. Ben trying to have a look down the inside. Oh, had to get heavy on the brakes there. Not too sure if they touched, but Mackie stays in front of Ben, and we're on to the final lap now. And the battle for P2 still continues. Mackie looking good so far. Nice onboard shots here with Mackie Adlam. Just look at how he's working that steering wheel. Counter steering left and right. Got the power on. Accelerates now through turn 3 and onto the back straight. And just gives you a great perception of the speed of these cars. Just watching how quickly the circuit comes past. Checkered flag is out though for Devin Robertson, and he takes a very comfortable win. But confirmation, Robertson taking the win in Class GTA, Willie Hepburn GT2, Jody Viana GT3, Carl Storrs GT4.
It was good fun. I had a good race. I'm using old tyres that have done 4 races. I can't afford new ones at the moment. So, but I felt it went very well. I had a good race.
Well, for the first few laps, it went well. Can't complain really about it. But the last 3 laps didn't go that well. Broke the distributor rotor, so we replaced it, and let's hope for the second it's gonna run well.
Ready for race 2 now as they charge down into turn 1 once again. Devin Robertson getting the whole shot from the look of it there, and Mackie Adlam trying to stay ahead of Ben Morganrud. Defensive driving there into turn 2. Cockram Jr. not too far behind Morganrud either, and it looks like Mackie's got the jump on Morganrud this time around. So the two youngsters out in front, and Devin doing what he does best, and that's just opening up an early lead and trying to get away from the rest of the field.
Well, there's no doubt that Mackie's going to chase down Devin in this one. He was next to him at the start, and if you look at it, you can see he's certainly staying closer there.
Yeah, he definitely is. Just looking a little bit further back there, Franco de Matteo back in his normal Jaguar, and nice to see him picking up 1 or 2 positions. Now trying to find a way past Willie Hepburn, and no doubt Amos Cockram next on the list as well.
I think you'll find Franco's on a mission. Yeah, he comes down the inside of Willie. This is Franco at his best.
Yeah, certainly is. He's going to be really fired up now in his repaired car. Hopefully it'll hold together this time around. But a man with no such worries is that man out in front. And Devin Robertson just spitting the flames out as he charges down. On board with Mackie now, slightly different camera angle, but a great angle indeed, giving you an idea of how hard he's working in the cockpit of that car, and just giving you an idea of the safety features and the roll cage and the safety cell that the drivers have.
And you have to take on board there just how spotlessly clean that car is.
Yeah, that car definitely is mint. Mackie's cars are always well prepared, and well, that is big proof. Just look at Franco there on Amos Cockram Jr. looking left, looking right, and Amos is going to have some trouble here. And have a look at that, Franco down the inside and picking up another spot there. So Franco really on a charge here and looking to get out after the leaders.
Well, that puts Franco up to 4th. He started in 7th and he's up to 4th at this point. Oh, hang on, Watson is going up there.
Yeah, Amos Cockram trying to come back at him there. Turning our attention a little bit further back though, Jody Viana and Weerbeer van Niekerk. Jody in a good position now at the moment for GT3 and looking rather comfortable ahead of Weerbeer at the moment.
A good one there, seeing just how close Adrian Dalton is with the GT4 Golf.
As we say that, Jody slows and Weerbeer has passed him. Jody's got problems. Sorry to jump in there, Stu, but Jody had very visible slowing coming out of turn 2 and into 3. Weerbeer's got past him, and it looks like Adrian Dalton's going to try to get past him now as well.
Don't count out Jody just yet. I'm sure he'll do everything he can to get back.
Maybe a little bit of a misfire or electrical issue there that might just be giving intermittent power. But you can see Jody fighting back already. We just hope that his car is going to hold together. Not too sure what the problem is, but he retakes the position. So yeah, Jody looking good. Let's just keep an eye on this because definitely something that did slow him down. We're not quite sure what it was. And who's that into the pits?
That's Franco Di Matteo going back to the pits again.
So obviously more mechanical issues there for Franco. And our race leader, Devin Robertson, starting the last lap. Dev really driving faultlessly in both of these heats. And he really is proving to be a force to be reckoned with in the GTA class. And just look at how smooth this guy is in this car. These cars are normally a handful to handle, but Dev makes it look rather easy.
But you can see his professionalism. Look at the way he's just sliced through the back markers. He's got a comfortable lead there.
Certainly does. Checkered flag comes out and confirmation there. Devin Robertson taking the win in GTA, JB Briett in GT2, Viana again in GT3, Dalton in GT4 and Cochrane Senior in GT5.
Yeah, well, it went to basically a lot better than what we've had in the basically the past few races. We've been battling with pace and with things breaking, and today actually just went all together, went well. We qualified well, we won both heats. So, I mean, not much more you can ask for.
Absolutely blessed. The second heat was awesome. We ran out of brakes to the end, but all the credit to Justin and the team. They did well, and thanks to my team, they did a wonderful job for me.
The last couple of races we battled with the car. It's the stuff break and to fix a lot of stuff. And yeah, this weekend we got practice yesterday where it didn't work that well. I snapped the front stab axle, fixed that, and today was just clean sailing. Finished the car, got fourth for overall. Good times, very, very good times. And yeah, you know what, I'm happy. I'm a champ.
Stuart, turning to you again, Class T in the Yokohama modified production cars seems to be coming of age again. What has made the difference?
As a clubman's committee, we should have learned a long time ago. Every time you introduce a new class, it seems to take at least a year before all the competitors get their cars together. All of a sudden, George Economides has come across with a very fast Golf, and it's created a whole new lease of life. Since the Zwartkops event, we are aware of at least another 4 Class T cars coming. So yes, we couldn't have wished for better at a better time of the year.
Coming up next, we've got all the race action from the Yokohama modified production cars. Heading into the first Yokohama MPC race and charge down into turn 1. George Economides grabbing the lead there ahead of Jeff Langeveld and Brendan Hall. And Langeveld closing in nicely there into turn 2. And nice to have George Economides back. He's in one of the Class T cars, which is a forced induction car. And you can see the acceleration really good there. The SRA is now also making a good start. And that looks like Mario Nardini ahead of Dean Fenter, who's driving the Nash car. And Fernando De Santos there in the red machine. A couple of tin tops in the mix there as well. Stuart McClarty, one of them. And nice to see the Porsche 911 joining the fray.
Yeah, that's Fritz Kleinhans. He's using his Porsche. And we've got George there in the BMW. So it was nice to have a couple of SRB cars in amongst them.
Yeah, it certainly was. Just look at the lead. Economides is busy getting out of this race so far. And a string of Hondas and Golfs chasing him down. Oh, look, a bit of sideways action there by car 122, and nice to see him still under control and sticking ahead. The SRA car is now starting to make their way through the back markers, and that's Nardini and De Santos, and looks like Fenter is now dropped back to 3rd position, but the SRA is still nicely close there, and they really are having a good race. Nice to see how this field has actually grown over the last couple of races, and nice to see a couple of tin tops joining the action as well.
Yeah, I think our SRA side in this one is great. You know, with Dean Fenter being there in the Nash, that Nash is a locally developed sports car. So that's the type of car we specifically want into the SRA division.
Yeah, it certainly is, and relatively affordable as well. All of those cars, from the Nardinis to the Nash, they all are pretty affordable, and just look at their performance. They really are starting to make their way through the MPC field and are starting to get closer to the front end of the MPC pack.
And you couldn't wish for closer event. Look at that, that's Mario and De Santos. They're having a great event. And here we've got Adrian Dalton with Dirk right there.
Yeah, it looks like Adrian's got past Dirk and Giles Darroch there right behind them as well. Giles, new colours for that car and certainly looking good, and he seems to be running a lot better. Look at that, Brendan Hall up the inside of Jeff Langeveld there. So we've had a change for P2, and nice to see the two CRX Hondas side by side there. Look at this, good close race action, and the guys really keeping it clean.
Well, they're giving each other space, and that's what we need in MPC. Jeff and Brendan are good friends and in the same team, but when it comes down to circuit, you know what it's like.
Exactly, that helmet comes on, the red mist comes down, and action aplenty. But just look how clean these guys are racing. Brendan just gaining a little bit of an edge there through turn 6 and using the back marker to his advantage as well.
And then we've got Paul van Niekerk and Andy Gosman also back into MPC. Nice to see Andy back with the MPC cars.
Yeah, it certainly is. Andy is stalwart of racing in various forms, and we have seen him in the MPCs before. Nice to see him with that car back again. I know they were working on the car for a little while, and nice to see the car back in action, and certainly giving Van Niekerk a run for his money as well. Oh, De Santos, end up problems there for him as both Andy Gosman and the rest of the pack get past. So it looks like De Santos is going to be heading into retirement. And lovely aerial view there through turn 6 and 7. Not something you often see, but a really nice view that.
Well, you can see James Alexander coming up there close on the back of Mario as well. In fact, watch out for James. He's closing that gap up altogether. He's from Botswana, so it's nice to see him come down for an event as well.
Yeah, certainly is. And James, a bit of a foreigner to these cars. We haven't seen him racing often, but the surprising thing is that he was one of the fastest cars in the field.
In fact, he set the fastest lap in the SRA in Heat 1, which gave him pole for Heat 2.
Well, there you have it. On to the last lap. Someone going farming there, buying a plot of land. And the back markers still making their way through. On board with Langeveld now once again as he chases down Brendan Hall and George Economides a little bit further up the road there as we see. Heading into turn 4, and Economides seems to have slowed down a little bit almost, unless the Hondas have just upped their pace and have really closed the gap that Economides had earlier on. But good racing either way. Someone kicking up a little bit of dust there. Checkered flag comes out. Economides is going to hold on for the win, only just though ahead of Brendan Hall and Jeff Langeveld.
Yeah, well, we've been out for a while, so we've done a lot of work in the week. We struggled a hell of a lot. But yeah, we're good, just happy to be here. The car's not where it needs to be, but to take a win in the first heat, we'll take it any day.
Yeah, so the car went very well. Giles gave me, it was nice and competitive, came up and then seemed to get a few issues. The car ran well, the handling's not quite what I expected, but still managed to get the lap record, which I suppose I should be very happy about. And yeah, I was having a nice day. We've got a nice full field here today. Yes, very enjoyable.
Yeah, up until the second last lap when I ran out of brakes and I managed to hold James off. But it went according to my plan there and I managed to get the win there.
Second race for the Yokohama MPC and SRA category underway, and the charge down into turn 1 once again. On board with Jeff Langeveld, looking back at the rest of the field, and Dirk Lawrence trying to have a look up the inside. Adrian Dalton right there as well, and for some reason George Economides starting a little bit further back, so he's got some work to do as well. So I'm assuming Brendan Hall has made it out into the front, and we're on board with Langeveld. Indeed, there's confirmation. Brendan Hall out in front, followed by Langeveld and Dirk Lawrence, and then the gaggle of Golfs behind them as well. And there's some of the back markers going through. That's Greg Gosman in the ex-Grant Williams car, I believe. Nice to see Greg Gosman back as well. I know a little bit of development work required on that car, but good to see him out there and joining Dad in the MPCs. Back with the SRA field, Stuart McClarty.
A little bit of smoke coming out
Yeah, I was
of
going
it
to
there.
say, a little bit of
definitely.
smoke, Stu.
Time to do some work on that one. And look at this, we've got James Alexander out front with the Santos right behind him.
Indeed, and Nardini there in third place. So quite a mix-up in the SRAs. Nice to see the new boy Alexander out in front, and it looks like he's got an early lead there, already opening up a good car length on the rest of the field. Back to the action at the sharp end with the NPCs. It's Hall, and right into second place goes George Economides as he dives up the inside of Jeff Langeveld there. Can Langeveld come back? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but it's Brendan Hall out in front, and Economides no doubt has his eyes set on that little Honda currently in the lead.
George's Golf has got a number plate that says Monster, and that's the way he treats it.
Yeah, it certainly is a monster, and it goes like a monster as well. That Golf is stupidly fast.
I think one must know that that is a forced induction car, so, you know.
Yeah. Well, it always helps when you've got a bit of a hairdryer on the thing, and it just shows the car really running well, and nice to see some reliability coming out of the car as well. In previous seasons, I know that car's reliability factor was always an issue, but apparently not this time around. They seem to have ironed it out, and he's going well. There's Alexander, the man from Botswana, out in front for the SRA field, and closing in on Kenny Darroch there. So already making his way through the back end, or the mid-pack, should I say, of the NPCs.
Well, it's great to see the SRA cars coming through the NPCs the way it is. If there's one marriage that's worked between the NPC and SRA.
A good collaboration, and we've seen some really good racing over the last couple of events, and nice to see the numbers growing in this event as well.
Yeah, that was the best we've had. It was 9 for the day, a good turnout of SRA and SRB cars.
Yeah, it certainly was. On board with Jeff Langeveld once again as he tries to close in on Brendan Hall, and Brendan Hall looks like he's closed down on George Economides as well. So I wonder if Economides doesn't run into overheating or tyre issues at the later stages in the race, because the two Hondas have caught him in both of these races.
You know what it is, a big horsepower and front tyres.
A little bit of tyre wear that makes the car a bit tricky to handle later on. There's Kayla Miller, the young lady in the Ford Icon. Checkered flag comes out. Across the line they go, and it's Economides who holds on for the overall and Class T win. Brendan Hall taking Class A, Adrian Dalton B, Kenny Darroch taking Class C. James Alexander, confirmation as the winner of SRA, and SRB, George Estlin once again. Justin, we've seen a number of incidents in the Onyx Legends series of late. Is a car this small safe enough to handle that kind of action? And how easy is it to repair the cars and get them back up and running?
The interesting thing is the comment from most people when they first see them is how small they actually are compared to what they thought they were when they've seen them on TV. The cars are very small, but yes, they are extremely safe. Cars are very well built. The cars are brought in from America, and they've got very high standards around the cars. Yes, we'd like to see less accidents, but some of the drivers have still got to learn a little bit more talent, a little bit more experience about driving open wheel cars. Repairing them, pretty easy to repair. The repair costs are not that bad. Running costs on a Legend are actually quite cheap to run.
Coming up next, all of the action from the Onyx Legends Championship. Getting ready for the first Onyx Legends race, and down into turn 1 they go. A big field of cars here today at Zwartkops Raceway, and some action-packed racing happening already there. A number of cars going off. Looks like Steve Null, one of them, Johan van Deventer, and Steve Beach in the sand there from the look of it as well.
The action's going to be thick and plenty, Greg. This track is quite tight for these cars, and they try and squeeze in. And there goes Johan Jooste also spinning out.
Yeah, Jooste having a full 360. Looks like he's going to get going again, but he's lost a fistful of positions. The leader's down into turn 5. Oh, and that's Bezuidenhout running really wide there at the moment. Clinton Bezuidenhout had a really good start, but has just thrown that out the window completely, and that leaves Keegan Vessels and Devon Marburg, who gives him a big shunt up the butt there, and it's a safety car coming out. Obviously the cars that are stationary in the sand in turn 1 are a bit of an issue there, and I'm not sure if Jooste was able to get going, so yellow flag comes out. And on the restart once again, Marburg and Vessels going at it into turn 1, and it looks like Jordan Larson there in 3rd position, not too far behind them as well. So a much better start this time around, a lot cleaner. And yours truly, Justin Robertson, getting through there. And that's Lonica Martins having a spin. I'm not sure if she was assisted or if it was self-induced, But either way, she's lost a lot of positions.
Running off on the top of the corner there.
Oh, Marburg.
There was a lot of oil on the track as well from one of the cars that dropped it in qualifying, not from us, but they were just before us. So the track was pretty slippery.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. The guys seem to be battling with proper traction, and they certainly are all over the show. But the racing is still very, very good here. And just look at Devon Marburg making up positions already. On board with Justin Robertson, the man alongside me here in the studio, and Justin, a bird's eye view of the action.
Look, the racing, like I said, was very quick, very exciting on that day, very close, and definitely something worth watching and being involved with, that was for sure.
It certainly is. Just busy watching the two men ahead of you there. That's young Richard Upton, one of the relative newcomers, who has been quite impressive from the start. And once again, Robertson, Devon going farming.
I think Devon got helped there a little bit by Upton. Some of the guys have still got to learn the open wheelers. When you touch wheels, you can cause a bit of damage, and you can also get the guys off.
Yeah, you certainly can. You're quite right there. We have seen a number of races this year where that has been a bit of a problem, and I think possibly even there, a slight touch there between those cars, sending Llewellyn Marburg flying off into the dirt. But out in front, it's Keegan Wessels, and man, there's so much to talk about in this race. Devon Marburg now trying to come back. He's just got past Upton and is chasing down, that looks like Clinton Bezuidenhout.
Bezuidenhout, let's be honest. CF has been quietly just filtering through, making his way up. He's at very good pace for the day, and he's up there into second place. Here we see him coming through on Keegan. Last lap, he's making his move and getting up into the front.
Yeah, CF almost unnoticed there as he just stalked his prey lap after lap, and as you say, getting up into this lead battle and holding on to that lead for the moment. Wessels getting a little bit sideways there. That definitely giving CF some room to breathe. Sorry to jump in there, Justin.
More experienced drivers. There goes CF over the line, getting the flag.
Well, confirmation, CF Free taking the win in the pro category. Semi-pro, Jordan Larson, Justin Robertson in the Masters, and Clinton Bezuidenhout in the Young Lions.
Yeah, the car's good, the car's handling is good, the car's pace is good. I just took it lap for lap. The cars, everyone spun each other out, bumped into each other, and we just stayed out of trouble, came through, and the car's awesome. I mean, we can thank my engine builder, Matty Martins, Denmark Steel, and Max Track for the superb car they gave me for the day.
Race 2 underway now, and once again a big charge into turn 1. The car's fanning 3 abreast as they go through the corner, and action aplenty once again. Obviously an inverted grid here, making things exciting because the faster guys are at the back of the field, some of the slower guys in the front, and this is where things get interesting. Charging down out of turn 2 now into turn 3, and we're on board with Keegan Wessels. But just look at that, CF taking an early lead ahead of Llewellyn and Devon, and the Marburg boys are going to have their work cut out for them with CF out in front. If you give CF an early lead, it's not something he's going to give up too lightly.
No, I think they're going to battle to catch him this time. He had a good draw for the second race. He was out in front from the start, and I don't think anybody's going to get a chance on him at all.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a big mission to try and get past him, and there's quite a battle going on there. Clinton Bezuidenhout, Justin Robertson, Richard Upton, and Johan van der Venter all in the mix, and on board with Jordan Larson now as he chases down van der Venter as well. So Larson getting through the field fairly quickly from the back, and now challenging up the inside there and gets past him and gets past Justin as well, or is at least alongside him in the meantime. The two of them going head to head. And just look at that, Wessels also putting his nose in as well. So, man, these guys are really having a ding-dong battle here. Wessels dives down the inside of Larson and manages to get another position.
The battle midfield was really close, swapping positions basically every single corner. Somebody else was edging the next one out and having a good dance there between us.
Yeah, certainly thick and fast is the action. Wessels under pressure now from Bezuidenhout, Upton, Larson and Justin Robertson, and Upton runs wide all on his own from the look of it that time around and gets into a tank slapper trying to come back on. Maybe a little bit of inexperience there catching him out, and now he's left with a lot of work to do. But this is the battle at the sharp end, and CF and the Marburgs out in front, and this is a little bit further back. Larson now running a bit wide into turn 2, allowing Wessels through, and Wessels carried the momentum through, and it looks like that bringing along with him Bezuidenhout, Houghton, Robertson. So Larson has lost 3 positions in one corner. It just shows how evenly matched these cars are. One little mistake and you can lose a fistful of positions.
Wessels hasn't been at the last 2 races, he couldn't make it, so he's been back and he actually had a very good day.
Yeah, he certainly did. Another good day there for Sief Fourie as well, though, as he takes his 2nd win in a row for the Pro category. Jordan Larson taking semi-pro, Justin Robertson Masters, and Bezuidenhout taking the Young Lions once again.
Yeah, I was happy. I would have liked to finish a little bit higher up, but we had a really close group. It was really close racing. That's what Legends racing is all about. Same cars, same everything, a little bit of setup, but a little bit of guts because the track's got a bit of oil on it. So it was a really tight race and us moving around, really close, really good racing. Need to just say thank you to Speed and Sound for backing us. They've come on board and helped with us, doing a lot of publicity for the series and a lot of input for the series, so it's definitely helping having them on board. Thanks, guys.
And the 3rd and final race for the day as the Onyx Legends charge down into turn 1 once again. And this a full inversion of the grid, and all the fast guys at the back, some of the slower cars out in front, and this is where things are going to get really, really interesting. On board with Wessels, oh, and a big incident there coming out of turn 2. Let's have a look at it again. That's Anu Stadler who tangles with Upton, and Larson just managing to slip past them. Who else is that getting tangled up? That looks like it could have been Wessels, yeah. So big incident there coming out of turn 2, bringing out the red flag, and this race is going to have to be restarted. At the restart and down into turn 1, so far so good, things looking alright so far. Everyone I think being a lot more cautious. That looks like Anton Repsolt. A little bit wide, but I think just giving himself some space so as to avoid any drama.
I think after the first gear of that start, the guys were a little bit more cautious. The guys are looking next to them now a little bit before they move over. You've got to be careful when you just move over, because when you touch wheels you can cause an accident quite easily.
Yeah, you certainly can, but just look how quickly the Foster guys are getting through the field there. Really already up into the top 6, some of them, and just look at that. 3 abreast as they head up towards turn 5. Lovely aerial shot this. Not something we see often, but one of the new shots that our crew has got, and it certainly makes for some exciting action. Gaggle of cars as they filter through turn 6 into turn 7 now. Side-by-side action a little bit further back there as well, and a real bun fight on for position as the Foster guys make their way through the field. Out in front though, it looks like Devon has got into the lead, followed by Clinton. Oh, Sief getting a little bit of argy-bargy there with Richard van Heerde, I think that was. So the new man getting mixed up there with the leaders, and nice to see some of the new guys there as well. But that's Sief making his way through, followed by Llewellyn, Justin, and that looked like Keegan Wessels just up the inside there as well. So the Foster drivers in the field certainly making short work of getting to the sharp end and leaving the rest of the field in their wake. Out in front though, it is Devon, followed by Clinton. Then we have Sief on the outside, Llewellyn down the inside, Justin Robertson trying to find a way through as well. He's got Keegan Wessels looking up the inside there as well, and this is absolutely action-packed racing. Absolutely nothing between them as they go through turn 1 there, and running nose to tail already in the early stages. Back up the hill here.
And close, we've got Sief making his way through, just slowly getting through, making sure he stays out of incidents and getting up to the front.
Yep, Sief just diving down the inside of Devon Marburg there. You'll see Clinton Bezuidenhout not too far behind either. And that looks like Llewellyn trying to have a look down the inside of Clinton, and looks like he's got his man as well. So nice to see Llewellyn Marburg with a little bit of reliability for a change, and he's proving that he is still the fast driver that we know he is. And nice to see him there just playing a little bit of shotgun for Devon and having a race of his own. Look at that, tucked up behind Sief Fourie, now going the other side behind Devon, and a real ding-dong battle for the lead here. Devon now back into the lead, Sief in second, Llewellyn third, Bezuidenhout, then Wessels. Look at this, 5 cars all fighting for the lead. You don't see this in other forms of racing that easily, but in Legends it is always something to see. Action-packed from the start to the finish, through some of the cement dust there, kicking it up, CF back in front, then followed by Divan, and non-stop action. Into the last lap we go. That is young Bezaidenote now starting to close down on Justin Robertson, trying to stay in the mix there. Back with our race leader, CF Fourie, and it looks like CF has got some breathing room there on the two Marburgs.
CF got himself a little bit of space once one of the Marburgs ran wide, and Clinton was actually in the front pack, and just a little bit of patience and we got through, got into the pace, got into the front, got near the front of the pack.
And there you go, checkered flag comes out and CF Fourie taking the win there in the pro class. Larson in semi-pro, Justin Robertson in masters, and Bezaidenote in young lions.
Yeah, in the third race we had a bit of a tangle between me, Richard Upton and Stompy, and unfortunately got a flat wheel, so I had to start from the back. Came through and it seems that I won my class. Thanks a lot to my dad and to my sponsors, Enviro, NNS, Bodyworks, and Fred Bank Traders.
For more information on the Inland Championship, please visit our new website www.inlandchamps.co.za, proudly sponsored by Nerdshop. You can also catch us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. And don't forget, we're heading to the Red Star Raceway on the 13th of August for more Inland Championship action, real people, real racing.